Hi there. So we're on day 32 of our Through the New Testament in the order that the events actually happen. Okay, which means we're reading 4 accounts of the story of Jesus through all the Gospels, right? One at a time, jumping back and forth. Today we are reading Matthew 20 and 21. We've been in Luke for the last week or so, so this will be a nice change. All right. Some of this we might have heard before. All right. Okay. Labors in the vineyard. Jesus talking. For the kingdom of heaven is like a master of a house who went out early in the morning to hire laborers for his vineyard. After agreeing with the laborers for a denarius a day, he sent them into his vineyard. And going on about the third hour, he saw others standing idle in the marketplace and said to them, You go into the vineyard too, and whatever is right I will give you. So they went. Going out again about the 6th hour and the 9th hour, he did the same. And about the 11th hour, he went out and found others standing, and he said to them, Why do you stand here idle all day? They said to him, Because no one has hired us. He said to them, You go work into the vineyard too. And when evening came, the owner of the vineyard said to his foreman, Call the laborers and pay them their wages, beginning with the last up to the first. And when those hired about the 11th hour came, each of them received a denarius. Now when those hired first came, they thought they would receive more, but each of them also received a denarius. And on receiving it, they grumbled at the master of the house, saying, These last worked only 1 hour, and you have given them equal to us, who have borne the burden of the day in the scorching heat. But he replied to one of them, Friend, I am doing you no wrong. Did you not agree with me for a denarius? Take what belongs to you and go. I chose to give the last worker as I give to you. Am I not allowed to do what I choose with what belongs to me, or do you begrudge my generosity? So the last will be first, and the first will be last. Right. Person who comes at the end will get just as much saving as the one who's been there since he was 5, like me, right? Right. Okay. And as Jesus was going up to Jerusalem, he took the 12 disciples aside, and in the way he said to them, See, we are going up to Jerusalem, and the Son of Man will be delivered over to the chief priests and the scribes, and they will condemn him to death, and deliver him over to the Gentiles to be mocked and flogged and crucified, and he will be raised on the third day. Some of them said they were afraid to ask him about that, okay? Okay, mother's request. See, now we read this yesterday, but it's a little different, okay? Then the mother of the sons of Zebedee, that's James and John, right, came up to him with her sons, and kneeling before him, asked him for something. And he said to her, What do you want? She said to him, Say that these 2 sons of mine are to sit, one at your right and one at your left hand in your kingdom. Jesus answered, You do not know what you're asking. Are you able to drink from the cup that I am to drink? They said to him, We are able. He said to them, You will drink my cup, but to sit at my right hand and my left hand is not mine to grant, but it is for those for whom it has been prepared by my Father. And when the 10 heard it, they were indignant at the 2 brothers. But Jesus called them to him and said, You know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and their great ones exercise authority over them. It shall not be so among you. But whoever would be great among you must be your servant, and whoever would be first among you must be your slave. Even as the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. Right? Now, this part here where he says, You will drink my cup. Baptized by fire, right? And boy, they did too. Right? Jesus heals 2 blind men. And as they went out of Jericho, a great crowd followed him. And behold, there were 2 blind men sitting by the roadside. And when they heard that Jesus was passing by, they cried out, Lord, have mercy on us, Son of David. The crowd rebuked them, telling them to be silent. But they cried out all the more, Lord, have mercy on us, Son of David. And stopping, Jesus called them and said, What do you want me to do for you? And they said, Lord, let our eyes be opened. And Jesus, in pity, touched their eyes, and immediately they recovered their sight and followed him. Okay, there's 20. Oh, 21. Man, what's going on out there? Okay, 21. I was distracted. Now, when they drew near to Jerusalem and came to Bethphage, am I saying that right? To the Mount of Olives, and Jesus sent 2 disciples, saying to them, Go into the village in front of you, and immediately you will find a donkey tied donkey tied and a colt with her. Untie them and bring them to me. If anyone says anything to you, you shall say, the Lord needs them, and he will send them at once. This took place to fulfill what was spoken by the prophet, saying, Say to the daughter of Zion, behold, your king is coming to you, humble and mounted on a donkey, on a colt, the foal of a beast of burden. The disciples did as Jesus directed them. They brought the donkey and the colt and put them on their cloaks, and he said to them, and he sat on them. Most of the crowd spread their cloaks on the road, and others cut branches from the trees and spread them on the road. And the crowds that went before him and that followed him were shouting, Hosanna to the Son of David. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Hosanna in the highest. You know what that means? Hosanna means? It means bring your kingdom now. Okay? Not a person. Bring your kingdom now. And when he entered Jerusalem, the whole city was stirred up, saying, Who is this? And the crowd said, This is the prophet Jesus from Nazareth of Galilee. The prophet Jesus. Jesus cleanses the temple. And then Jesus entered the temple and drove out all who sought and bought in the temple. And he overturned the tables of the money changers and the seats of those who sold pigeons. He said to them, It is written, my house shall be called a house of prayer, but you make it a den of robbers. Now, the other Gospels go into great detail about this, right? I'm actually making a whip and swinging it around. We'll read that, I imagine, tomorrow. And the blind and the lame came to him in the temple, and he healed them. But when the chief priests and the scribes saw the wonderful things that he did, and the children crying out in the temple, Hosanna to the Son of David, they were indignant, and they said to him, Do you hear what these are saying? And Jesus said to them, Yes. Have you never read, out of the mouths of infants and nursing babes, you have prepared praise? You never heard that? Of course they did. And leaving them, he went out of the city to Bethany and lodged there. Jesus curses the fig tree. In the morning he was returning to the city, and he became hungry. And he saw a fig tree by the wayside, and he went to it and found nothing on it, but only leaves. And he said to it, May no fruit ever come from you again. And the fig tree withered at once. Now the other Gospels say he went by the next day, and they noticed it was withered. So, different views, right? When the disciples saw it, they marveled, saying, How did the fig tree wither at once? And Jesus answered them, Truly I say to you, if you have faith and do not doubt, you will not only do what has been done to the fig tree, but even if you say to this mountain, Be taken up and thrown into the sea, it will happen. And whatever you ask in prayer, you will receive, if you have faith. Right? If you have faith. Most people don't have faith. Most people have hope. Hope and faith are two different things, right? Faith is knowing something's going to happen if you ask for it. Hope is hoping something will happen if you ask for it. Okay? Faith means it shall be done. So, the authority of Jesus challenged. And when he entered the temple, the chief priests and the elders of the people came to him as he was teaching and said, By what authority are you doing these things? Who gave you this authority? Jesus answered them, I will also ask you one question. If you tell me the answer, then I will also tell you by what authority I do these things. The baptism of John, where did it come from? From heaven or from men? They discussed it among themselves, saying, If we say from heaven, he'll say to us, Why then did you not believe him? If we say from man, we are afraid of the crowd, for they will hold that John was a prophet. And he was, right? So they answered Jesus, We do not know. And he said to them, Neither will I tell you by what authority I do these things. Wow. The parable of the two sons. What do you think? A man had two sons, and he went to the first and said, Son, go and work in the vineyard today. And he answered, I will not. But afterward he changed his mind and went. And he went to the other son and said the same. And he answered, I will, sir. But he did not go. Which of the two did the will of his father? They said the first. Jesus said to them, Truly I say to you, the tax collectors and prostitutes go into the kingdom of God before you. For John came to you in the way of righteousness, and you did not believe him. But the tax collectors and the prostitutes believed him. And even when you saw it, you did not afterward change your minds and believe him. Interesting. Well, they say I want to get really into that parable of the two sons. All right. Here another parable. There was a master of a house who planted a vineyard and put a fence around it and dug a wine press in it and built a tower and leased it to tenants. Went into another country. Now this is the story of Jesus, okay? When the season of fruit drew near, he sent his servants to the tenants to get his fruit. And the tenants took his servants, beat one, killed the other, and stoned the other. Man. Again, he sent other servants, more than the first. They did the same to them. Finally, he sent his son to them, saying, "They will respect my son." But when the tenants saw the son, they said to themselves, "This is the heir. Come, let us kill him and have his inheritance." And they took him and threw him out of the vineyard and killed him. When therefore the owner of the vineyard comes, what will he do to those tenants? They said to him, he would put those wretches to a miserable death and let out the vineyard to other tenants who will give him the fruits in their seasons. And Jesus said, "Have you never read in the scriptures, the stone that the builders rejected has become the cornerstone? This was the Lord's doing, and it is marvelous in your eyes." Right. That was head of the corner. Therefore I tell you, the kingdom of God will be taken away from you and given to a people producing its fruits. Therefore I tell you, the kingdom will be taken away from you, given and the one who falls on this stone will be broken to pieces. When it falls on anyone, it will crush him. When the chief priests and the Pharisees heard his parables, they received that he was speaking about them. And although they were seeking to arrest him, they feared the crowds because they held him to be a prophet. There you go. So, I say, he's in Jerusalem, right? Causing trouble. Causing trouble. That's what he does. Open. There you go. Oh, that's day 32. This thing got shut off. So, okay, we did that. Oops. We will call this full entry. I spelled that wrong? Maybe, but there you go. So there it is, Matthew 20-21. We're getting towards the end parts and towards my favorite parts. Matthew 24 is probably one of my favorite chapters in the Bible. We'll be doing that. Not for a while. Okay, not until day 38, and we are on day 32, so that's about a week for that. So there you go. Catch up on the ones you may have missed while you can. Give us a like if you think about it, and tomorrow we'll do it again. See ya.